I decided to do an update considering that we made the first episode of Let's Get Both Ties news video. And well, the thing with news is that you stories update. Now, I don't really think I said anything that aged horribly. Probably the worst might be when I said a few things about the shooter that's like, you threw your life away. Well, he did. And, if you think I'm being sympathetic, I would say it was. But on the other hand, I think that it doesn't do us any favors to think of people who commit these crimes as absolute monsters. What they do is monstrous. When they do that, they need to answer her for what they did. But when we begin to think of them as anything other than human, then we are committing the same we are committing the same crimes they might be committing against us. Okay, so yeah, so two very heroic patrons at the bar had stopped the shooter, and they've only identified one of them, but the other one was apparently a drag queen who went out and just stomped him with her heels. I'm like, yes. Susie, did you should have seen her reaction there. She would be like, "What the heck?" The alright, says the club. So yeah, the long rifle was confirmed to be an AR-15, which means it was an automatic rifle. As I as I continue to say, there's no reason why civilians need automatic rifles like this because they were designed to kill people at the same time. I've heard people say, "Oh well, you can alter it to do this or that." Why are you spending so much money on a freaking gun when pistols and rifle or hunting rifles are like under 300 bucks at tops at Walmart? If they're basically there's no practical reason to own these guns uh, except if you want to one for powerful, two just have fun shooting, which fine. If someone's just going to have a gun to do that, fine. But the thing is that when you have guns out there like that, it makes it more. It just makes it easier for people who might want to do harm to get a hold on them, even if the legal owner isn't doesn't mean to do any harm with them. You know, and plus weird stuff happens all the time. So, but I didn't want to do a gun rant, but that is going to factor into there. I want to say I'm not completely against people having guns. I'm not one of those. I'm not the picture of Billy Hart Liberal who's like, ban all guns. I'm like, why do we need these guns for various civilians to have? Everyone say, oh, it's because if the government turns against me, if the government turns against you, you are dead. Okay? Your little AR-15 is not going to stand up against a drone strike or tanks or whatever. So that's my take. If you need guns for hunting, for self-defense, fine with me. Uh, if otherwise, I don't really see the reason why I need them. Personally, I don't own one myself, and I could go into reasons for that, but I don't really want to right now. All right. Some called it a hate attack. Investigators were still determining murder to prosecute as a hate crime. The charges against the suspect will likely include first degree murder. All right. All right. I'm looking at a Huffington Post article, and it's largely the same stuff. All right. All right. So yeah, this is a quote from one of the people who was there named Joshua Thurman, 34. I could have lost my life over what? What was the purpose? He said, his tears raining down his cheeks. We were just enjoying ourselves. We weren't out harming anyone. We were in our space, our community, our home, enjoying ourselves like everybody else does. I have. They have released names of the people who died. So I'm trying to see if they said anything on here. Ooh. Yeah. One thing I didn't mention in my video was that it it was Transgender Awareness Week last week when this happened, and as this was a late night club, Sunday was International Transgender Day of Remembrance, and one of the people killed was trans. At least one of them was. Does not look like this one. This article. The list the dead. Let me messing with my Google app here. I wanted to read. Yeah, I want to read the names of the deceased club who. All right, we have an article from CNN here. I feel like the anti-recording here was doing these. All right, yeah, CNN has them with their photos of them, and here are the names. The ones here who died: Raymond Green Vance, he, him; Kelly Loving, he, her; Daniel Aston, he, him; Derek Rump, he, him; and Ashley Pogg, she, her. Okay. Oh, and actually gives them bios too. Derek Rump was a bartender at Club Q who had found a community of people that he loved really much, and he felt that he could shine there, and he did. And his sister Julia had told the scene an affiliate WFMZ. He made a difference in so many people's lives, and that's where he wanted to be. And then they said that he was a polar opposite of Daniel Aston, who was another one of the victims. Aston, 28, was the bar supervisor, said bartender Michael Anderson, who had known Aston for a few years and considered him a friend. Now the shooting, Anderson saw the gunman duck behind the bar where he and Aston had worked as glass went down around him. He told the CNN on Monday he thought he was going to die, so put on his boot to escape the scene. He saw two people who he didn't know beating and kicking the gunman, he said. Anderson was questioned, learned Aston had made out the bar, which Colorado Springs LGBTQ community considered a safe space. He was the best supervisor I could have worked for. He made me want to come into work. He made me really want to be a part of the positive culture we're trying to create there, Anderson said. Yeah, that Ashton was an amazing person. He was a lot in my life, and it's surreal that we're even talking about him in the past tense like this. He had so much more life to give to us. It all was to himself, said his mother. Yeah, Ashley Pogg, her family released a statement on her behalf on Monday saying they're absolutely devastated. In everything in the family, we can't even begin to understand what it will mean to not have her in our lives. She was a mother, and her daughter, her Riley, was her whole world. The statement read, adding that Pogg was a man family. Except her dad, her sister, and her family, Ashley was a loving aunt with many nieces and nephews who were devastated by her loss. The statement read. Kelly Loving, her sister, released a brief statement Monday, My condolences go out to all the families who lost someone in this tragic event and everyone struggling to be accepted in the world. My sister was a good person. She was loving, caring, and sweet. Everyone loved her. Kelly was a wonderful person. Raymond Green Vance was visiting Club Q for the first time with his longtime girlfriend. Her parents and some of her parents, Francis, family said in a statement provided to CNN. They're celebrating a birthday, according to the statement. The people Vance were designed with included Richard Imfiar, the man who subdued the suspected gunman, and according to Facebook, posed by his wife. Unfortunately, he never left the club. So yeah, those are the 5 people who were murdered there. And one of them, was either like a bisexual or pansexual person who was with a heterosexual partner. There, so they didn't even. Which look, even if they did identify straight, yeah, we should still consider their family, his allies there. Okay, I'm going into a group chat I'm in, and some of the people there shared some really good stuff. So this is from I'm going by the names that they're using here. So this is Joey Paradise. He shared some tweets by Dan Savage, and I said it's not just that gay bars are supposed to be a safe space. People who hate queer people want us to keep it private, behind closed doors, someplace they don't have to see it. And the doors of a gay bar are doors we keep it behind. A place we can go and be together and not bother them with the fact of our existence. And behind those doors is a place we can forget they exist. Not straight people. There are straight people in gay bars and clubs, our friends. But behind those doors we can forget, we can suspend or disbelieve and pretend the haters don't exist, just for a few hours. An attack like this says not even here. Behind closed doors isn't enough for them. It's not that they want us to exist outside. They don't want us to exist at all. So if we're not safe in there behind closed doors, where they say they want us, we have no choice but to make it safe everywhere for all LGBT people, out of the bars and into the streets. That's a quote from activism that from like the 70s, where basically it was like the leading charge of Stonewall. That was a chant heard during the Stonewall riots. I show about the next tweet. The modern LGBT civil rights movement began with an attack on a bunch of queer people, gay men, drag queens, trans women, butch dykes, being themselves behind closed doors. Hmm. Yeah, and then Dan shared he shared a link to a crisis hotline, which I should probably link in like show notes. Okay, OSTEM.org/page/crisis-hotlines. Yeah, if you need any support, if there's a queer crisis line. It also links to some places to donate to. All right, I want to say this. This is not the first. We talked about Pulse, but this isn't even the first time. That wasn't even the first time stuff like this has happened. Stonewall wasn't even like the only one. This has been documented somewhat, but you can find this on Wikipedia as Upstairs Lounge Arson Attack. It happened June 24th, 1973. And this is one case I can't get out of my mind when I think about attacks on LGBT people. So, hmm. Basically, um, it was called Upstairs Lounge because it was, and yeah, until the Pulse shooting in 2016, this was the biggest, the deadliest attack on a gay club in U.S. history up until then. And yeah, it was a bar on the on like third floor of a building, and they set basically someone set a fire to the bar, and the people, some of them queer, some of them trans, or however, some of them straight and just there with family and friends, and oh, so and they've never specifically nailed down who did it. There's a they have a suspect, but it's never been specifically proven that they did it. So, right. 28 people who died on the set at the scene, and another three died afterward. And what really bothered me at the time was that the response to this said they got what they were deserved. And there were cases where some of the bodies, their families never bothered to claim them. And the thing is that having heard reactions to some right wing voices today, those reactions happen today would not surprise me still. So when we have an attack like this, it's chilling because these things. They said they don't know what the guy's motive was in this newest attack. Guys say he knew where he was going. He brought a gun. He obviously had he knew where he was going. He had a type of target in mind. He brought something to hurt people. You cannot say that this was not that we were not that my community was not targeted. So yeah, I don't want to. I almost feel bad that I made this the start of the podcast because I don't want this to be this serious all the time. Like I already have um an episode with a friend that I've recorded that it didn't feel right to release as the first episode, but it's me and him talking. We're good friends, and we talk about stuff, and we do talk about some serious stuff, but we also are a little lighthearted. So, I was also thinking about releasing movie reviews as part of this from a queer perspective, which some of it isn't even oh well, this reads this way, but it might just be standard movie review just from someone who's queer. Okay, so yeah, so that's the updates we know now. I wanted to give some presents to the victims. I wish the drag queen who was stomping the shooter's face was identified, guys. Heroic. And I love that the guy who, yeah, the guy who took, who was also fighting down was ex-military. And thank you for stepping up, sir. They're both heroic in my book, so yeah, like I'm gonna say, is I'm gonna close out. Send love out first. Because always send love out first. So thank you. Please, podcasts should all be about experimenting with format. Your head to go a little loose, play with new things if you want. And I think that's what we're gonna do here. That if we don't stick specifically to format, oh well. We want to talk about things. We might go in different directions. We might go in tangents. We might do a surprise one about the news. We might do one. We could do. We could have a week where we have a new podcast every single day. We have a week where we have one episode. Who knows? We're gonna do this. So, good morning to everyone who popped in on stream. If you're here, I am not really managing, paying attention to any chat because I really haven't had anyone really pop up, probably because I'm so not sticking to a schedule. But whatever, we're doing something, we're making content, we're out here. Alright, so I once again put love out first.